I shouldn't be here today. I am a statistician by heart and by training, and I can tell you that every predictive model out there puts me somewhere else. Not in this room, not on this stage, and most definitely not with a PhD or the title of CEO next to my name. But let me start by telling you about the woman who defied all odds to get me here. My mother, she was born in India, the eldest of 7 children. And when at the age of just 13, it was time for her to forego her future education and get married, like her mother and her grandmother, who were married at the ages of 14 and 2, respectively. My mother, she simply refused. And that refusal and the struggle she went through to gain an education, that changed the trajectory of her life, and it gave me all the opportunities that I have in mine. Because of that decision, the transformation from potential child bride to CEO happened across just a single generation. Now, my mother has Alzheimer's today. She's had it for the last 7 years, and she's not lucid anymore. So she can't remember the impact that she had. So it is my greatest honor to be her ripple effect and to replicate the change she made in our family on a global scale. Room to Read is driven by the core belief that world change starts with educated children. Since 2000, we've deployed more than $850 million in capital towards foundational learning to benefit almost 40 million children across 24 countries, to break the cycle of illiteracy and gender inequality in their families, making them change makers for themselves, their families, and their communities. Room to Read is a startup success story. We've built what we've built through partnership with some of the world's best investors and institutions. We have had our own version of IPOing, being invited to ring the bell for Nelson Mandela's 100th birthday, and to IPO gender equality from stock exchanges in New York to London to Colombo. What makes our work special is the way that we work with governments and communities to implement programs that work. 90% of our 1,600 staff, who are supported by 22 legal entities around the world, are local nationals situated in the communities we serve. Our operational commitment has been recognized through 4-star charity ratings by Charity Navigator, through recognition from world leaders and incredible organizations like UNESCO and the Library of Congress, and education leaders like 100, whose independent jury of 194 experts gave us the top rank for impact and scalability from a pool of 3,500 organizations. But Room to Read does its work because we never take no for an answer. Since 2000, we've reached children in classrooms, in homes, in refugee camps. We've reached them through cell phone and computer, through broadcast, through boat, and even by camel. But last year, we did something new. She Creates Change is Room to Read's multimedia storytelling initiative, which works across film, books, and audio stories to provide instructional and inspirational content to girls telling true stories of their courageous journeys. We do this because we want to make sure that girls have access to the role models and tools they need to become change makers, but not just girls on Room to Read programs, the 432 million adolescent girls all over the world who deserve their chance at shaping their destiny. We do this work because we know that the stories that they see and that they hear have the power to help them process hardship, overcome obstacles, and create coalitions for change. Now, every one of you represents a story of positive change. When we were young, we probably didn't realize we would fight this hard to write our own narratives, or that we would be recognized one day for shaping the business world and society in unique and transformative ways. We maybe didn't imagine that a prestigious organization like CNBC would see our stories, tell them, and somehow help us influence others. So in this room, we've achieved a lot of power, and alongside that comes incredible responsibility. Responsibility to use our voices and our lives and our businesses to drive economic and social impact to solve some of the world's most greatest challenges, be that poverty, disease, climate injustice, or the relentless pursuit of peace. World change does start with educated children, but equitable access to educational opportunity and the underlying basic needs, that starts with all of us. Now, these words by Nelson Mandela are seared into my brain from the very first time I read them. And that is that there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. So there is no bigger calling for a room of change makers than to allow children everywhere to follow in our footsteps, to learn about the world's greatest challenges, and to be equipped to surpass us, far surpass us, and drive the positive change that they and our global community so desperately need. Thank you.